Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bridging the Gap. Make sure to leave a like on this video down below and subscribe. My name is Alvin. I lean right on most issues, and I'll be representing the Republican side.
My name is Luke. I lean left on most issues, and I'll be representing the Democratic side. Hey guys, so in this video, Alvin and I will be reviewing Allan Lichtman's prediction for the presidential election of 2024 through his 13 keys.
Yeah, so we're going to be going through the 13 keys like we have many times before, and then we're going to be talking about our thoughts on the methodology. Is it legitimate? Is it not? We'll be talking about it. Obviously, you've heard about the 13 keys on our channel before. They've been pretty successful throughout the past 9 or so election cycles, so we'll talk about it. Let's just run through the keys now super quickly. I'll do the top half, you'll just do the bottom half, and then we'll finish up. So midterm gains is certainly false because the Republicans gained seats compared to the last midterm 2018, where they suffered a really bad loss. Now they are in control of the House, so red on midterm gains. No primary contest is certainly true. Kamala is basically coronated as the nominee. There was no competition. The Democratic Party just sort of coalesced around her very simply. Incumbent seeking reelection obviously is false. Joe Biden is not seeking reelection. Pretty simple. No third party is going to be true. There used to be some concerns around RFK hitting a no third party. The definition of this would be hitting 5% as a significant third party. But as you can see, he's not even polling at 5%. Even in that one poll that is conducted post dropout, there's a few that were conducted post dropout, but regardless, Kennedy is not even on the ballot in swing states, although Democrats want to keep him on. A lot of judges are trying to keep him on, but he's really not on the ballot anymore. He's removed himself from all the significant swing states. The other candidates might make a dent in the Democrat margin, specifically Jill Stein, but it's not going to reach a significant amount. You can go true here. Strong short-term economy. There's a little bit of shakiness actually very recently. We had two sort of Black Mondays where not the Democrats, the stock market fell quite a big percent, like 2 to 3%. It recovered the last time around, but we had another one just last Monday that Lichtman previously said would be a problem if that happened again, but he said the key is true. I think the key has been true the whole time because the real GDP has been positive. However, consumer sentiment has been low, so the people don't feel that the economy is good, but regardless, doesn't matter. Strong long-term economy is going to be true. We've calculated this multiple times. If you calculate Obama's second term and Trump's only term compared to Biden's term, he's improved over their 2 terms. This is really helped, of course, by the COVID recovery right here that saw a
Hmm.
spike in the GDP per capita. So that's going to be true. And the major policy change is going to be true, according to Lichtman. He thinks, the IRA and all the executive orders with the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act is enough to send Biden over the top, and you can do 8 through 13.
Yep. So the next key is also ranked true. No social unrest. This is one of the keys Alvin and I were thinking could potentially flip before, but yeah, it does over the Gaza protests in particular. But it does seem that the sentiment around that has kind of, and even the talk about the Israel-Gaza war has significantly died down um, over the summer. There's not like as of right now the university protests aren't really as big as they were during the spring, and it just feels like the conversation has really shifted because Biden isn't the focus anymore, and it's kind of switched to Harris. So
Yeah.
that key is true. The next key is the no scandal key. This key focuses on a bipartisan recognition of a scandal for the incumbent president. Yeah, so currently there's no bipartisan recognition of scandal. Republicans in the House have been trying to pin something on Biden for a while, and yeah, they've been thoroughly unable to really get him on anything, only his son. Going on to the next one, these next two keys, the no foreign military failure and major foreign or military success, Lichtman left both of them unrated. But on a video on his YouTube channel, which you could check out, he did give a soft rating to both of them. No foreign military failure. He marked as a soft rating false, because as it is currently, he views the Biden administration's handling of the war in Gaza as a failure, with a potential chance for it to become a success, if there were to be a ceasefire deal before the election. And as for major foreign or military success, that the next key, he ranks that as a soft true, because of Biden's ability to hold the West together, in terms of his handling of the Ukraine war and getting them to rush supplies to Ukraine and have them hold the Russians in a stalemate. This also has the potential to flip because, of course, if Russia were to break down Ukraine's defenses and somehow like get to Kyiv and conquer them, then this key would also be deemed a failure. So right now, these are both soft keys, but we'll soon see they don't really matter because a winner is decided in the end. The next key, the charismatic incumbent key, since the person running for president for the Democrats right now, Kamala Harris, doesn't have the broad appeal of say FDR or Nixon or Reagan, who were able to at the time win essentially huge swaths of the country and sweep like almost all 50 states. Since Kamala can't really do that, this key is rated false. And for the final key, uncharismatic challenger, this key is rated true because Trump also does not have that appeal. Both candidates, Trump and Kamala, only appeal to like half the population.
Yeah, not even that. They're probably neither of them are probably gonna get
That's true.
50% of the popular vote. Although maybe now that Kennedy's out, Kamala can do it. Maybe. Now, let's talk about the model itself. Now, statisticians have been sort of unhappy at the model for a while for something called p hacking, which is where you sort of make a model based off of the past events and where you sort of select things that would help your model out without looking at the things that don't help your model out. It's a difficult statistics principle. You might want to search it up if you really care about statistics, but yeah, statisticians have not been happy with this model for a while, yet it's been pretty decent, at least since 1984. He only predicts one wrong, which is 2000, but it's not exactly like he's the best predictor ever because most of these elections since 1984 were pretty obvious based off of the polls. I would
Hmm.
say that really only 2016 was the one election where this model broke out and became really famous because it went against the polls, unlike practically every other election, right? Obama was predicted to win, he won. Biden was predicted to win, he won. And if you go back, at least Bush round two, he was predicted to win. Uh, Reagan round two, of course. So,
I would also
you want to
say
say
nine.
something?
I would also say, yeah, like you're right for the most part. A lot of I will say, yeah, you're right. A lot of elections are easy to predict, but yeah, it did get both 2016 and H.W. Bush in 1988 when he was like
Yeah.
losing to Dukakis in the polls by double digits. So yeah, there are some occasions where there's at least two occasions where it picked a winner where the winner like seems very unlikely at the time.
Yeah, and not only that, I think the other really damning, criticism of the model is that sometimes the model has things happen to it that are probably good for one candidate, but the model rates it as bad for the candidate. Now, obviously, if you have a strong economy, that's going to help the incumbent party. I don't think that's, really that big of a, it's not that big of a debate. But for example, you have the no third party key. And I would say that Democrats would be happy if RFK was getting more percentage of the population now that Kamala's in the race and they're trying to keep him on the ballot, right? These partisan judges are trying to keep him on the ballot. But yet Lichtman's model says that Trump has a better chance if Trump has a better chance
Hmm.
if RFK did get 5%. That doesn't make much sense. We also have the incumbent seeking reelection key. I think everyone and their mother would say that Harris has a better chance of beating Trump than Biden, and that is an absolute fact. I think this is very difficult to debate, but this model has Biden doing better because he would win yet another key, making it look like an absolute blue wall here. So, yeah, I don't know if this model is perfect. You also have the subjectivity in a lot of these keys, specifically key 10
Mhm.
and 11. Key 10 I've always seen as a failure in Afghanistan. I don't think, that was the initial L that the Biden administration had that completely tanked their approval polling. This is really not a debate, just like a lot of things I've said. And key 11, he's had as likely false slash lean false. And just a few weeks ago, he just, with no major news, he decided to flip this key to likely true. I mean, it doesn't matter, of course, but I mean, if you look at the Ukraine war, Ukraine's gotten this tiny sliver of Russia. This is not a big deal to Russia. Yeah, it's in the news, but this is not that big of a victory. I wouldn't call that major. Okay, it could be a very minor success. Gaza, I don't see a success here. The ceasefire deal is not came. Hamas is not even negotiating anymore. They're sending their proxies. Israel has agreed to numerous deals, but then they back out, or Hamas doesn't accept them. Then if Hamas accepts one, Israel doesn't accept one. You can go now, but I mean, I just think these keys are a little wonky.
Oh yeah, I mean, I do agree, like to some extent for sure, that I think you should always take these sorts of models with a grain of salt. Yes, I would say Lichtman's success rate is very high. It's definitely like what, 80 or 90%. But like, I mean, yeah, we could point out other issues as well. I mean, I think most notably, I would say, is the 2000 incident where he supposedly, like, there was this. Okay, so he, after the 2000 election, he started to claim that his model focused on the popular vote, and then only after 2016, when he predicted Trump would win, did he start changing his tune. So, like, I think stuff like that is like, him just like switching things around when it's convenient. I do think it's a little like I mean, obviously, like, it does hurt his credibility, but I mean, I don't know. This is just, at the end of the day, this is just a tool we can use, like, to see, like, oh, who might be more likely to win. This model that's built on history and things that make sense from a historic perspective of like what would choose a president. Like, oh, the incumbent has a strong economy and stuff. Like, using history as a model, I think that, like, having some way to measure like how we could predict, some prediction method for the election as a prediction method, I think it's a fairly okay one. But we'll really see its effectiveness on the election day. On election day, it's only 2 months away. So, I mean, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I just also wanted to add that the model in 2000, because you started talking about 2000. The model in 2000, he claims back now, after all the shenanigans of 2016, that just like you mentioned, now he says the model was correct in 2000 because he claims that if the votes were counted correctly, he would have been correct, and that
Hmm.
actually Al Gore was scammed of the election. Now you can talk about this, you can debate this, and how Florida counted its votes was, it was a little weird. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're supposed to be predicting the president. And so if you get it wrong, regardless of the circumstances, he likes to say that the circumstances don't matter. He likes to say that his model is perfect and that the circumstances don't matter. So he doesn't pick the right president. Too bad, so sad. That's an L for the model. Um, and I'd also like to add there's some other quote unquote perfect models that have been built off of history. For example, I think it's called the guaranteed loss rule, where it's based off of the economy and consumer sentiment about the economy, I believe, and the unemployment rate and the satisfaction of the economy. And currently, that model has been perfect for the past, I don't know how many years, since it's been tracking the economy with good data, and yet it currently predicts a Trump victory because it says that the incumbent administration actually has a guaranteed loss. based off of the economic sentiment of the voters of America. And, you know, it's obviously in contrast with not only the economic keys, which Lichtman has as positive, while, you know, most of the population, most of the voters think the economy is doing poorly. Most of the voters trust Trump more than the economy anyway. You know, it would predict a Trump victory, yet this model decides to use these two keys to help Harris and predict a Harris victory. So does this model have, you know, some p hacking? Just like I said before, it might be some, uh, you know, just looking at what might help the model and
I
not looking
mean,
at what might hurt the model.
I just want to ask, for my own curiosity, and I'm sure for the curiosity of viewers, what is this other model, this consumer sentiment based model of predicting elections
So
that you're
I'm
referring to?
pretty
Yeah.
sure it has to do with the misery index. Now, I haven't looked into this model uh very thoroughly. But there you should just search up the guaranteed loss rule, I would suggest. It's really, you know, it's based off of consumer sentiment of the economy. You might have heard the phrase, it's the
Hmm.
economy, stupid. And really, that is the case for a lot of people. Most voters are thinking about the economy and nothing else because frankly, they don't have the luxury of thinking about things like abortion, or immigration or things like that. They are just trying to get by, and so they care most about the economy. And it's really for them, according to this model, not really about how the economy is doing, but how they feel about the economy, right? How they think the incumbent party is managing the economy. And so if you look at the guaranteed loss, we'll just search it up. It talks about how if the if the economy is doing a certain way, poor enough in a certain way, the incumbent party always loses, and that's why it's called the guaranteed loss rule. Um, we can make a future video about that or something like that, but
I mean, I'm just curious,
uh,
like, why the rule didn't apply for the 2022 midterms. This is just presidential elections, I guess.
it's
Like,
just presidential elections. Just
okay,
presidential elections. Just like this model, of course, is only for presidential elections. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm not positive on it, but I just named it as an example because I know there are a lot of other models that are technically perfect since a certain date, but they just don't have the publicity that Lichtman does. So, you
yeah.
know, some of these models are in contention with each other,
I mean,
right? So
you're
a
right.
perfect model is bound
Even
to fail.
Lichtman is
Yeah.
was only right, like, up to, like, 1984 and beyond. So, like, before that, like, prior U.S. presidential elections, the model doesn't really work for a lot of those. So yeah, it is interesting to see.
All right. I think we should wrap this video up. According to Lichtman, Harris has 9 keys, but according to some people, this model isn't great. According to some people, this model is great. I mean, he does have a lot of support. Now I will just talk about this really quickly, and I just found the guaranteed loss rule. So, you know, uh, do you want to hear it before we wrap this video up,
Uh,
or
I
not?
mean, Sure.
Or
If
maybe
you
not.
like
Actually,
to,
maybe
do you want to
let's just talk
entertain us?
about
I mean,
let's just
this is about
tease this
Lichtman's
for
model.
yeah.
So, though.
Let's just tease. Yeah, we'll just not tease this. Maybe we'll do it a future video. But thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like this video down below. Comment down below what you think of Lichtman's model. Is it good? Is it bad? Regardless of your bias. Subscribe to this video down below and ring that bell for future notifications because we will be reviewing other models too, like the polls. And share this video with your friends and family. Thanks for watching.
See you guys.